Theo Leggett reporting the time 7:09. In the saga of Britain's efforts to stop the Luxembourger Jean-Claude Juncker becoming the next president of the European Commission, the position of the Italians has been seen as key. Italy agrees with Britain that there needs to be change in Europe. It's a big country too, and might have helped form a blocking minority. But it seems that is not to be. Italy is signalling that it's ready to say yes to Juncker if it gets a promise of changes it wants. Sandro Gozi is Italy's Under-Secretary of State for European Affairs, and a few moments ago he told me what Italy wants in return for that yes vote to Mr Juncker.
We want to fundamentally reshape the key EU policies. We want finally, especially in the Eurozone, in general in the EU to focus much more on growth and not only to focus on stability and austerity as it has done so far in the recent years. We want a new common energy policy, the achievement of a single digital market. Around these priorities, we want to hear a clear commitment from whoever will be the President of the Commission, and if it is Juncker, he must commit to a fundamental change in his approach, notably to growth and employment policies.
But that's the point some people make about Mr Juncker, that actually he represents too clearly the old way of doing things.
Well, certainly Juncker is not a new face in Europe. He has been around for 18 years, but it is the candidate at the moment who will gather the widest consensus in the two institutions which have to decide. And these two institutions are the European Council, the head of state and government, who has to appoint him, take into account the result of European election. And then there is the European Parliament, where all the political groups are united in backing him. So we take into account this, and we want, anyhow, to pave the way for a new political cycle, and the new political cycle can change only around new priorities.
You've laid out very clearly what Italy's priorities are. Britain's priorities are slightly different, but very much to do with reform of the EU and making the governments more powerful and the central bureaucracy rather less powerful, decisions being made at national level more. Do you believe that those kinds of reforms could take place with Mr Juncker in position as President of the Commission?
Well, Juncker must commit around the new agenda. That's Juncker or whoever should be. We have always said this in the very beginning. And we think also we want also to open a debate about the functioning of the EU system. We want less bureaucracy. We want to simplify the institutional and administrative system of the EU. And also on this, I'm not sure that we are that far from the British government.
One British cabinet minister said over the weekend that if Mr Juncker becomes President of the Commission, the risk is that it makes it more likely that Britain will leave the European Union.
Well, for us, the bad news. We want to win against UK, and we want UK out probably of the World Cup, but not certainly of the European Union. For us, the UK is a key actor. Since the very beginning, we have fostered our cooperation with UK. I do believe that even if it is Juncker, it is not the name. It is the policies who can bring in or keep in or push out a country of the EU.
Final question. Mr Cameron seems to be wanting to have everyone vote and vote openly, each country to vote openly about Mr Juncker, possibly at a summit at the end of the week. Do you think that's a good idea?
I'm not sure it would be a good idea. It is true that the treaty foresees the possibility of voting on the appointment of the President of the Commission, but I would say that certify a strong division and certify a very wide majority and a limited opposition, it wouldn't be the best way of starting the new legislature.
Sandro Gozi, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.